Hey there. Thank you so much for sharing your testimonial and your experience inside the Return to Her program. So, can you share who you are and why you decided to enroll inside of Return to Her?
Absolutely. My name is Elmire and I am from South Florida. I decided to join Return to Her because I was in a part of my life where I wanted to prioritize myself in a different way. And I wanted a space to be able to do that. And from reading what Return to Her was about, it intrigued me and I wanted to be in that space. Plus, I had done a couple of master classes with you and it felt like home. It felt like safety. And it just felt like the right opportunity for me to go ahead and dust off my goals and work on some things that I've been meaning to get on track with.
Yeah, I love how you said to spend time and prioritize you. Can you share like what this experience was like for you?
The experience was an experience. So I'm the type of person that loves to do lists, and I have gone through personal development programs before where I was um, going in to do some things. Here, I wasn't here to do. The experience was really learning to be within myself, learning to sit with myself, um, but also utilizing that information to do and move forward in a way that will be very conducive to my well-being, my goals, and the vision that I have for myself. So the experience was more about feeling and tapping into deeper in my own intuition, if that makes sense. But
Yeah.
like it wasn't a thing to do. It was really learning just how to
Yes.
be
I
present.
Yes, I love
Yes,
that you say that because I often say that Return to Her is the being program. I was like, this is where we come to be. I love that you
correct.
said that's the experience you had.
Well, the whole entire time I was trying to figure out like what I was experiencing, and I was trying to put it into words. And then towards the end of the program, I realized like it gave me the opportunity to really just embody a lot of what had been pushed aside, embody a lot of what like had been hidden,
Mm,
embody a lot of what I've just been denying myself. And
wow.
like towards the end of the program, it all started like coming together in words and not necessarily feeling, but I was just always so full when we had our modules. And like again, I couldn't explain it, but it was a lot of just chest area, like gratefulness and gratitude. So it wasn't a thing to do. It was a experience to feel.
Yes. Oh, I love that. So when you think about the experience you had and your intentions for coming into the program, what was the transformation that you would say on the back end you experienced? Like when you think about who you were when you entered and then who you were when the program was complete, what transformation do you feel you experienced?
I think I got out of my head a lot more. Yeah, I got out of like I got out of my head a lot more, and I started it's not that I've never felt before, like because that's gonna sound crazy if I said like I started feeling, but it was observing my thoughts from a different perspective, and then being able to for lack of a better word, like really properly process a lot what was going on from a space of like, how can I help myself be better? Like,
Mm,
how can I use this information to do things better? Not even just better, but in a way that's more beneficial for me.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Is it fair to say that you had like an experience of shifting into more of like who you are, your best self? Those are typically like terms I typically hear people use when they think about like being their best self or unleashing more of who they are. Like when you think of it that way, does that sound accurate?
Yes, and I say that with hesitation because I feel like it was a lot more than that. It wasn't like okay, I'm feeling like my best self. I feel like I'm feeling like myself.
Ooh,
Um, right? Like I'm authentically myself because
yeah.
like you could feel like your best self, but I think sometimes that comes from a space of like, I don't want to be that anymore when you're looking
Yes.
back.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of pieces and parts that like in some of the modules that we did where I was just like, I miss that. Like, why don't I do that? And why was I shoving those pieces in a corner? Like, why did I deny myself those parts of myself? So
Mm,
I don't feel like it was like, oh, I'm better. I just feel like all those pieces serve a purpose and they can
yes.
still coexist even
Yeah.
though like they haven't been around in a while.
I love that. So you
Yeah.
reclaimed all of you.
There's still pieces being reclaimed. If I'm being honest, like I
Yeah.
feel like some of the major pieces, like during the 6 weeks that we were together, I can't call it a program because I don't like it just doesn't feel like a program. The experience that we had, like during those 6 weeks, it's like there's a lot of major parts that came forward because I even when you gave us the homework to do, like the homework was doing me, if that makes any sense.
Yeah,
Like
the
I
work
wasn't
was
sitting,
working on you.
yeah, the work was definitely working on me and things were just coming into awareness for me and just making a lot of sense. So many like confirmations came and just uh, solidified that these were the things that needed to be back here.
Mhm.
And I was grateful for that because a lot less self-judgment is here. Like there's a lot more peace, like there's a lot more curiosity. Not that it wasn't there before, but it's given more space because I think the judgment is no longer there to be like, well, I
Yeah,
don't know. It's more like, okay, well, okay.
I love that. I love
Yeah.
that. The self-judgment was a big piece for you, and I was really
Yes.
it was really cool to see you move through that and get to this space where you're giving yourself permission to be and reclaim and just unleash more of yourself.
Well, again, I think just being given the space where it wasn't judge judge filled or judgment filled
Yeah.
actually helped me notice that. Because
Mm,
like I didn't even like yeah, you're like, oh, you hear a whole bunch of things about like self-talk and like mastering your self-talk. And for me, like I shared, like it wasn't a thing about, oh, there's negative self-talk. Like I always glossed over a lot of that teaching or a lot of those kinds of things because I'm like, that doesn't apply to me. But being in a space that feels like a compassionate hug, it
mm,
allows you the opportunity to be like, girl, what, why are we doing this? Or why are we stopping ourselves so much? Or why are we like hesitating? Like what's all that chatter back there? And for
mm,
me, that's what it was. It was like noticing that chatter back there. Like I wouldn't say like I judge myself to a point where like I don't do anything, but some of the things that I really wanted to do, or some of the things that were really of interest to me, like there's always a hesitation. And
mm,
I was noticing a lot of those hesitation in a lot of like major areas for me. And
mm.
that's when I was like, it's never been negative self-talk. It's always been judgment. And
Yeah,
I never noticed it because it wasn't necessarily spoken about or even touched upon. Like,
yeah, yeah.
right? So
Yeah, that's a really powerful reflection. Thank you for sharing that.
you're welcome.
So, if there was someone who is looking to either enroll and return to her or just curious about working with me, what would you say to someone who's on the fence?
Jump. Okay, wait, if you're on the fence and you're over analytical like me, if you live in your head and you have like a whole condo up there, this is for you because it gives you the opportunity to like take the elevator down to your heart and your intuition and really just give yourself the opportunity to be. And I know that just sounds like some woo-woo thing, but like you really do get to be in a space where you're almost like observing yourself and being able to like see all the things that you do want to do, but from a space of like better perspective, if
Mm,
that makes sense, right? So if you're a to-do list person like me, if you have a whole luxury condo up here, um, this is for you because it allows you the opportunity to dive deeper and do the work from a different perspective. If you're into personal development, self-development, if you've been there, done that, this is a different shift, for lack of a better word, into that same realm. And I feel like it's just a better foundation. And I say that with hesitation because I'm like, yeah, you could probably do all the things, but like doing all the things, if you're still seeking something, it means it's not working.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I feel like the return to her for women, I always say, like, if a woman wants to work with me, come here first before doing the relationship program or working with me in like leadership and things like that. Because it's like, if you can crack this code here, the other sequences start to make more sense.
correct. And I think having experienced it, I understand why that makes so much sense because you're not focused on like getting to, it's not an end goal thing. It's not
Mhm.
about getting to a place, it's about being in a place. So it's just different. And I'm a person that loves self-development and self-help. I read all the books, yada yada, but like it was a feeling more than it was a doing.
Mm. Yay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to share your experience. I'm really grateful for that.
Thank you for the experience.
My pleasure. My
Yeah,
pleasure.
I appreciate it.
You're
So
welcome.
join, do it, do it,
Y'all heard her.
do it.
Thank you, my dear.
You're welcome.